I've realized I've referred thousands of people to programs, to drug treatment programs, to AA programs, to all kinds of I make referrals every day. And I asked the brother one day, I said, man, what did it take to get you to turn it around? He said, it was nobody but Jesus. You've got to know that the world's programs are great, and I don't knock any other program, but there's something about when the Lord gets involved in your situation. There's something about when God begins to work on your behalf, when God begins to touch you, when God begins to turn it around. When God turns it around, I'm here to tell you this morning, Aire, that your situation is turned around. You don't have to give credit to anything else, but to anybody else. But how were your eyes open? My eyes were opened by the Lord himself. And so they said to him, how were your eyes open? And he answered and said, a man called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said to me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. So I went and washed and I received my sight. Somebody here today, you ought to tell somebody how you came over. It was because of a man named Jesus. A man named Jesus came into my life. A man named Jesus touched me. A man named Jesus gave me a different mindset. And now I don't do what I used to do. A man named Jesus. And so they said to him, where is he? Now they want to know. Now people are curious. People ought to be curious about your God. People ought to be curious about your walk. People ought to be curious about your talk. How can I get what you got? They asked the question, where is this man? And he said to them, I don't know. I don't know. I really can't tell you where he is. He said, I just don't know. They brought him who was formerly to the blind to the Pharisees. Now it was a Sabbath when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. Then the Pharisees also asked him again, saying, he who received the sight, he said to them, he put clay on my eyes and I washed and I can see. Therefore some of the Pharisees said, this man is not from God because he does not keep the Sabbath. Isn't it something that once you get blessed, now people want to be technical? So when they were going through, it really didn't matter what they had to do to get to to get to their blessing. It didn't really matter. Now all of a sudden, now people want to be technical about the rules. They want to operate off of the letter of the law when they know that it was nothing but grace and mercy that kept them when they were going through what they were going through. God's grace and mercy kept them, and so if God's grace and mercy can keep them, God's grace and mercy can keep you. God's grace and mercy can keep the folks that you may be looking down on. Now, don't be so technical with people. Because what if God was technical with us? Well, what if God held everything that we've ever done against us? Don't you realize that if God held everything that we've ever did against us, then I wouldn't even be able to preach. So some of y'all wouldn't even be able to sing. Amen. Some of y'all wouldn't even be able to play. Some of you wouldn't be able to. We would not be worthy of God's grace. And so now they wanted to be technical and say that he did it on the Sabbath. Others said, how can this man who is a sinner